Okay, welcome back.
Hello.
Corona Diaries, episode 1, after the enormous success of our pilot, right?
I think we agreed on the name as CoviDiaries.
CoviDiaries? Okay, just because it has a
I
COVID
think
and D
it's like
you
a
want to use,
it's like a
that's
little
very,
wordplay. I'm trying to
that
trying
is,
to use
that's
that as
very,
my
I understand wordplay, but that is very, just teenage-ish wordplay, just,
what better
anyways,
than your Corona Diaries?
Corona Diaries is no word. It's just facts, like facts. Anyways, let's. So we are in difficult times. We are a couple in New York, and we are living through the times. Let's just record what day it is and what the numbers are today and where do we stand. So today is April 5th, 2020. So do you remember the numbers we saw this morning in terms of the number of positive cases and?
So we saw this morning the total number of cases in the United States were 320,000 or 320,000, which is by far by the biggest margin, the highest cases anywhere in the world. Just New York State has 125,000 or 125,000 cases, out of which nearly the half or a little more than half are in New York City.
Yes, 67,000 is what I last checked New York City numbers are. And more than numbers, at this time, the way I see it, now slowly we are listening to more and more, harrowing stories coming out from the hospitals, from the nurses who have their first person account of what's happening in the hospitals, for instance, right?
Yeah.
More and more deaths and. Do you remember the number?
So yeah, we every morning we get a sort of a statistic for unfortunately how many people passed away from this, and it was consistently growing. It was 150, 250, 350. I'm saying just for New York State, and in past 3 days it has sort of stabilized at 600 a day.
So overnight deaths are
Yes.
close to 600, which is massive.
Which is really, really bad. But the silver lining here is that if it's only 600 and not going up, then maybe, just maybe, we are flattening the curve. Maybe our social distancing and this whole business of staying at home for a month now is finally starting to show some result. And this is only for New York, because in the United States as a whole, deaths are going up.
And by the way, you are just accounting for flattening by the number of deaths, but we'll also have to see the hospitalizations and the
everything is slowing down, at least for 3-day numbers. What Como, our governor, reports every day.
Yeah, so there's a long way to go. The shutdown today is April 5th, and shutdown is until April 31st, as our beloved President Donald Trump said, right?
Yes.
So still a long way to go. And the thing that I wanted to point out at this time is that, these deaths, when you look at them as numbers, you feel very different. But slowly what I'm observing, that you are getting faces to these deaths. Some person who's working in a hospital or some newscaster. For instance, this chef Floyd Cardoz, I think that was his name. He was a chef in a New York restaurant. He has a very famous Indian restaurants in New York, and he died of the complications from COVID-19.
Yes.
So the point I was trying to make is that you feel it more viscerally when you see the faces and real names coming behind these numbers that we see day in, day out, right?
Yeah, and we're starting to see some newscasters and a couple other people.
So while we're talking the grim stuff here, did you listen to or read anything positive about what is happening, in terms of vaccine, or are we finding any solutions, or anything that you heard was interesting?
So, they are really pushing for the plasma testing. Plasma testing is basically when if you have had COVID and you have recovered from COVID, you have antibodies for that in your blood, and they're trying to isolate that plasma and give it to other people and see if we can basically give them the antibodies and give them some immunity. It's still very much in the experimental stage, but they're doing it more and more in New York, also because a lot of people have no other choice.
Yes, and to add something to the plasma transfusion, right?
Uh-huh.
It's not testing.
Well, testing is the first part, right? Like they have to test a large number of people who have
Yeah, yeah. So
who have
eventually the
recovered.
solution is the plasma transfusion. And what interesting I read about it is that, you know what the number R naught is? By the way, we should say that we are not experts on these things. We just read and listen, and
Regular
we are
people
having a casual conversation. Nobody should take this as an
take us seriously.
educational educational material. So, do you know what the number R naught is? You must have come across it, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
how many persons, in a way, are spread
Yes.
from one person? So,
Yeah.
for instance, R naught in case of coronavirus is 3,
Almost 3, yeah. They're
Almost 3.
saying 2.5 to 3.
2.5 to 3. This means one person spreads on average 3 other people. So, and what's just for, tell me, what is the R naught for a regular influenza?
I think it's 1.5.
Good. And when the R naught of any of such epidemics goes below 1, then you say that it is contained. For instance, a 0.8 would be like, yes, we have contained the spread. Now, the interesting thing I was about to mention was that this plasma transfusion, it's kind of it's weird that you cannot take one person's this transfusion. One person can only do to certain limited number of people he can save, and the number of people that one person can save who is healthy now and has the antibody is 3. Isn't it weird? That it could spread it to
like
3 people, and at the same time this
can
is like a
say-
cosmic weird thing that this person, if this becomes successful and if we start doing this on large scale, this one person will be able to give it and save 3 other lives, and because he has already undergone. Anyways,
I mean, we're still far from having, just because we can isolate the antibodies, which is what stage we're on. The next stage will be we can give it to somebody else. We still have to see if it does anything.
yeah, I think we have been doing this in California. I heard a few cases. At the same time, we should also note that this is not a new thing, right? This is an ancient thing. I mean, decades before, we have done these things for people, with different kinds of diseases. I don't remember exactly. But we have done this, right? When people realize that the blood of a healthy
But I think from what I
recovered person is actually...
maybe I'm wrong that I thought it was done for bacteria.
Okay.
Another thing that's the good thing that New York has started doing is, one of the major things that is a problem with this pandemic or epidemic is that people are not able to breathe, right? So they have to go on a ventilator, which is a complex machine that you have to stay on that breathes for you. And New York has so many people and so little ventilators that they've started an experimental protocol where they use one ventilator for 2 people. They divide their tubes, and that efficiently doubles the number of ventilator, which, if it works, means that we will make it work.
The thing about that, what I came across was that it could have a chance of cross-infection.
Yes, but both those people are dying. I mean, we're talking about people who are dying. We're saving them.
Yes, and there's a very interesting podcast, Planet Money, which is talking about ventilators and what the country is doing to make more ventilators, and how the car manufacturers have been ordered to make. And you know what, these machines require
GM
some
motors,
600, 700 parts, which come from different companies, and how everyone is just activated to produce. Somebody who's producing 200 odd, they are asked to produce thousands of them and deliver within a week, and so the whole country is coming together to make these ventilators, which is going to be very crucial because we are still looking at the peak, in coming weeks.
and also that most of those, the 700 parts you said, a lot of parts, majority of those parts were coming from China.
Okay, so let's stop pretending
Like
to
we
be
know anything.
like we know anything and we are experts, and let's talk about our personal lives. So we are again, the lives are usual, but what happened in last 1 week is you had a doctor visit, right, which we mentioned. So would you like to very briefly tell everyone what happened? How did it go? So you drove. I was not allowed to go. You had mentioned last time, so I didn't go, obviously. Go on.
Yeah, so I went for my ultrasound. This is one of the longest ultrasound, takes about an hour. And I was told to get out of my car.
This is related to your pregnancy, if anyone missed the first.
Yeah, I'm pregnant, 20 weeks, ultrasound, and I was told that I should just wait in my car because they did not want to collect people in the waiting room. They said they'll call me when they're ready, or call them when I'm ready. So I called them. I said I'm here, and they said come on, and we have no waiting people. So I went in. They took my temperature. They asked me a few questions, gave me a mask, checked everything looked okay, and then I went straight into the clinic, into the doctor's office. The technician who does the ultrasound has 2 masks on. My doctor had 2 masks on, and I felt pretty safe. Everyone was being extremely careful, and we didn't touch any pen, we didn't touch any credit card, we didn't touch anything. We were not allowed to touch anything. They also had a very funny rule. They said you cannot talk or laugh. It was April 1st.
Okay.
There were some rumors that people could be like coughing as an April 1st joke. So there was like a serious rule that you're not supposed to laugh for whatever reason. Don't laugh. Don't talk. Don't laugh. Don't talk on phone. Don't talk to other people. You only answer when you've been asked a question.
Not that many people are laughing. And last week I went for a grocery, and I remember I was getting out of the hallway, and a lady was coming from the other side, and the way she behaved looking at me. This is no laughing matter, but I understand. She just pushed herself to the wall on the other side, and it was like as if, I mean, what this virus has done to us is very interesting in many ways, right? I mean, we are avoiding each other like we are
plague. Usually I sit in the waiting room talking to other moms, and all the moms are usually talking, who's your doctor, where are you going, where's your hospital, and this time we were like not even looking at each other. Everyone was just sanitizing their hand, their phone, like obsessively. Also, everything turned out okay with the ultrasound. Thanks for asking.
Okay.
The doctor told me that I should skip my next ultrasound because they expect to see the peak around then, and I should get a Doppler for home and basically do my own blood pressure and my own diabetes check and heart rate check, and just sort of talk to her online and report everything. She said it's if I really need to come in, she'll call me, but I'm better off staying off. My OBs told me that they will be called into emergency room. They'll be deployed into an emergency room. Doctors are being deployed like army right now.
Yes. Yeah.
So she has to go to ER. She told me she has to go to ER. And she does not want to see me if she's going to ER, which I agree with. So.
Okay. So that was good.
Intense.
And, my only accomplishment, as I mentioned, was getting groceries. I got more than $200 worth of groceries, which will last 1.5 weeks.
And that same day, my job was to clean those groceries. That almost takes about an hour and a half now.
Yeah.
You sanitize everything. And
so some things have changed starting today, right? Today morning when I woke up, I saw a piece of paper slipped through the door, and that paper had strong building rules. The new rule says, as per the CDC and the government guidelines, that everyone should be wearing masks. So they have a new set of rules about how we behave. For instance, we cannot get deliveries at our door. We have to go down. We have to wear masks every time we get out of our unit. And otherwise, the fine is in the order of
$5,000.
$5,000 fine if we do not follow the rules they have mentioned. It's a few pages. I'm going to share with everyone. It's a few pages and a bunch of rules of do's and don'ts, and that's a good thing. We have this is serious, and of course we have to do everything we can, and this is not too much to ask from us, right? Okay.
Finally, United States, obviously official government has said that everyone should be wearing masks all the time when they're outside. And they've also said that next 2 weeks are crucial for United States. So everyone should, if they can, skip doing groceries or going out at all. They should do that.
That is new too. We have to follow that. See, the thing about the government guidelines is that the way I think about it, and I've mentioned it to a few people I've been talking to, that the government in these difficult circumstances will lie to you from time to time, because they'll have to. And this is what happened with the masks. So initially the government said that you don't need to wear masks, and that was definitely because they wanted to protect the masks for the people who are in healthcare, right? Imagine if the people in New York City hospitals starts getting sick. Who's going to take care of this? This will be a mayhem. So they did tell us that you should not be wearing masks, but that was not a fact which was true, right? Because masks are helping. It is going to help if you are, you know, that you are asymptomatic and you're spreading for 2 weeks. I mean, it definitely, it's a no-brainer. You don't need a peer-reviewed research to tell me that I need a mask. So everyone should wear mask, period. All right. Anything interesting we did? We did one thing interesting yesterday evening, which was the house party.
Yes.
Would you like to tell something about that?
We had our friends join in from 4 households. Total like 9 people, 8 people.
Everyone living in New York. And by the way, let me just clarify, house party thing is just a fancy name of...
House party is an app, so it's no one's house. It's an app.
It's a fancy way of a teleconference, which I do for work every day, just with friends and drinks.
Everyone except me made their own drinks, had drinks. I was eating chocolate, and we talked about. We were talking about stuff, and it was very nice. It was. We talked about what is everyone doing new.
Yeah.
Now that they have all this time, and we found out no one's doing much
also
of
because
anything.
We talk every day so much that we know everything what everyone is doing at all the time. So there's nothing new you're going to find out there. What about TV in these times? I think we're watching less TV, right?
Much less.
Though I see people keep inquiring about what shows, what this, what that. I'm not interested in finding new shows somehow. I watch less TV because I'm working more. Is that it? Or
I think
there's too much work.
You are working more, and I don't watch TV because you work in the living room, where there would be TV.
I
so
see a complaint coming my way.
So I don't watch TV because I don't want to disturb you. Okay. And I mean, I'm not complaining. It's a good thing. I shouldn't be watching.
Yeah, you're
TV.
cooking more. We are cleaning more. So there is a lot more, house maintenance stuff. So yeah.
I mean, cooking. Yeah, we never cooked for lunch. We were always eating out.
Yeah.
So lunch is
more than double the meals are happening at home.
We make a breakfast. Some sort of breakfast, then lunch, and then dinner, and it's a whole lot of cooking.
So, and my desk setup is much better because I got a 32-inch ultra high definition monitor delivered from Amazon. You basically have another TV on the dining table
monitor.
Now. That's my monitor, and that's a good thing, except for the fact that we had to take care of the box. They have told us that cardboard boxes, this virus survives for 48 hours.
Longest on the cardboard boxes, it survives for 3 days. So I was basically just wiping the thing off like a maniac for 20 minutes.
Okay. I think that's about it, right? Is there anything else you want to add in this?
I am doing some new stuff. I'm learning some softwares to record properly.
Record what?
I'm recording some presentations for patient education.
Good.
So it's stuff that I already do, but I'm learning new. I'm becoming a little more tech savvy, which is new to me because I don't work with computers. I don't do much of anything.
You're doing pretty good, especially because you have such an excellent help at home, if you know what I mean. Anyways, just one more thing before we leave is that yesterday morning I woke up with a little bit of sore throat. See, that's not allowed in these difficult times, right? Because you cannot stand up and say, I'm feeling a little sick. I did feel a little sick, but then it went away very quickly. Part of it could be in my head, so
I'm sure it was in your head. There was a few weeks ago that 2-3 weeks ago you said my lung is tingling. I don't even know what that means. I was like, you are paranoid.
Some research going on about tingling lungs, but anyways, that's
you are paranoid. I'm paranoid with you. But you're feeling fine. We checked your temperature a bunch of times to make sure you're fine.
Yes.
And you are fine.
I'm healthy and dandy. Now, so it's time to close.
I will see you next week.
Yes, and we hope that next week we have lower numbers and better
some
news,
good news.
And we are hopeful about that. And we are living through it, and we are recording how we are living through it.
Yep.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.